Hey there, did you know that the real estate industry is in a full-on power struggle right now? One of the biggest brokerages in the US broke away from the rules that govern the entire system. Compass is suing Zillow. Zillow is banning listings. And NAR, the National Association of Realtors, it's the biggest real estate trade group, they're caught in the middle. And if you're a homeowner or a buyer, this fight could seriously impact how you buy or sell your next home. So let's get into it. By the way, my name is Gjevre, and I'm a top real estate agent here in San Francisco. And if you're thinking about selling or buying, or even just trying to make sense of the chaotic market and some of this news, please reach out. I'd love to help you out. I help clients all over the city, and I've got an expansive network all over the country. You know, I've been doing real estate for a while now, and I've seen some big rule changes, big lawsuits come in and shake up the whole game for us. So in this video, I'm going to try to break down what is happening now for the normal consumer out there and how this is going to affect you. So let's just get started here. We're going to talk about who these key players are, what a private listing is, and get into the details of this legal battle that's erupted, and finally, what this will mean for you. So let's start with the basics here. Zillow, we all know who they are. They are the dominant online real estate platform. 227 million monthly visitors. Their business thrives on one thing: visibility. They generate revenue from ads, lead sales, and partnerships. So the more listings they have, the more views, the more money they make from real estate pros paying for exposure. Now, I used to pay, and sometimes I still do, I go kind of in and out of paying for leads from Zillow. It is a great way to meet buyers that are raising their hand because they want help finding a place. And then the next player is Compass. They're the largest residential brokerage in the US by sales volume. They're known for their slick branding, their custom tech tools, and they've got a marketing strategy that includes something unique, which they call their private exclusives. It's an off-market strategy that only Compass agents can see before they go public. You know, full disclosure here, I used to be an agent at Compass a few years ago, and I really liked working with them. For me personally, I found I'm much happier now at a local boutique, working shoulder to shoulder with top San Francisco agents and building something rooted in the community. Someday I'll get into the whole journey about this, but let's just stay on topic here. Okay, the National Association of Realtors, NAR, whatever you want to call it, is the trade group that oversees most of the US real estate industry. They set ethical standards for us, they control access to MLS platforms, and they enforce different types of rules, like one that we're going to talk about here, which is called Clear Cooperation Policy. That rule says if a property is marketed publicly, it needs to hit the MLS within 1 business day. And as agents, we're essentially required to follow those NAR rules if we want access to the MLS. And by extension, to almost any buyer or seller, because we need the MLS to operate our businesses. Okay, so let's talk about what a private listing is. I mean, I think it's kind of self-explanatory, but I'll do it anyway. They're properties that are marketed outside of the MLS. So typically it's to a selected group of buyers. They're usually promoted quietly within an agent's network, or in Compass's case, it would be within the Compass system. So Compass has this sort of 3-step process, which I like. Phase 1, private exclusive, the listing is shared only within Compass. Phase 2, they do a coming soon, which is shown on the Compass's public site. And then phase 3, they do MLS, and obviously then it pumps it out to Zillow and all the other players, Redfin, Homes.com, Realtor.com. So Compass claims that this gives sellers more privacy, right? And gives them more flexibility how they want to sell their home. They say it's a way for them to test the market on pricing before going public. Critics will argue that it gives larger brokerages an unfair advantage and limits access for everyday buyers. That says it reduces competition and ultimately hurts the seller and not maximizing exposure. And it is worth noting, Compass says that their sellers love it, but I do think that's up for debate. Multiple university studies show that MLS listings sell for 13 to 18% more than off-market private listings. And private listings take 85% longer to sell. That's not a small gap. Okay, so here we are. The battle is heating up. In April 2025, Zillow announced a game-changing new rule. If you market a listing anywhere else, it must also be listed on Zillow within 24 hours. If not, it's banned from Zillow. This is a huge challenge in selling your home. Be careful. You need to be careful. And just to be clear here, they're not banning homes, they're banning listings that skip Zillow. Sellers can still list with a new broker or under a new model, but it's a clear move to protect their platform. Zillow says that this aligns with NAR's clear cooperation policy and ensures fair access to listings. They don't want a world where buyers are left out just because they're not inside a private network. Compass did not take this lightly, and on June 23rd, they filed a federal antitrust lawsuit in New York claiming that Zillow's policy is anti-competitive and it hurts their ability to do business. They also allege Zillow conspired with Redfin and EXP to enforce similar listing restrictions. And then, after that, they announced another bombshell. They publicly announced that they're leaving NAR's clear cooperation policy altogether. They say the rule limits innovation and seller choice. Meanwhile, NAR had actually softened their stance already in March, letting local MLSs adjust their own timelines, but Compass clearly doesn't want to play by any version of this rule anymore. So what's in the lawsuit? It might be getting confusing here. So Compass is asking for an injunction to block Zillow's new rule. They want monetary damages, which maybe we'll talk about this later, but I don't see how this is really hurting Compass since most of their listings go public anyway, and the freedom to market listings how they want. So those are the three things they're asking for. They argue that Zillow's listing ban violates federal antitrust laws and is designed to protect Zillow's dominance, hurting both consumers and agents. Zillow's defense is they say Compass isn't really suffering any real harm since 94% of Compass's private listings end up on the MLS anyway. They claim their rule promotes fairness and transparency. And yes, Compass did file an emergency injunction on June 27th to block the policy before it went into effect on June 30th. Okay, why this matters for you. If you're a seller, Compass's approach could give you more flexibility and privacy. I'm going to talk about my take, but anyway, we do something similar. But if your home isn't on Zillow or the MLS, you could miss exposure to millions of active buyers, and that could cost you. We have a friend who decided to sell with Compass, and they were talked into this private exclusive thing, and they felt like they lost weeks being private exclusive. So I don't think it's for every property, and it might not be for every person. So talk it through with your agent, do what you want. The other thing for sellers is you're kind of forced between two competing systems, an MLS-based system or a platform-based system. I'm going to get into my take later. It's so hard not to give my opinion in the middle of this. Oh my God, I can't do it. All right, so for the industry, Compass's move could start a trend. And we could see a major power shift from associations to platforms like Zillow that already control consumer eyeballs. Okay, so finally, here's my take. I think that there is a place for private exclusives or private listings, or what I heard them say on the new Sex is in the City, or what is it? And Just Like That, I've been hate watching it. Anyway, she called it a whisper listing on last week's episode. I kind of like that whisper listing. So I think there's a place for that, and it can save sellers some pain if they really have an understanding of what the price is going to be, etc. Here's the deal. Compass is saying that this is to help sellers. I don't see how it helps sellers, really. Not maybe once in a while, but for the majority and then the places that I hear that they're pushing it on, I don't see how it helps the consumer. I'm sorry, Compass agents. I really like Compass. I don't see how it helps sellers. I think sometimes it can, but mostly it doesn't. And I think it helps Compass buyers maybe a little bit, probably at the expense of the seller because there's not enough competition. Definitely helps Compass if both of their agents are on both sides of the deal. So I think that the rules that we have right now work well. They do help to protect consumers. I mean, the whole thing is everyone goes to Zillow to find open houses, what homes are on the market. And if you're not there, you're going to lose out on all these buyers. I mean, right? I mean, I used to be there, so I kind of know what the story is. Anyway, if you're thinking of buying or selling here in San Francisco, or just trying to wrap your head around this story or what's going on in the market, give me a call, give me an email, give me a text, set up an appointment. All my information's in the comments. Be sure to subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Gjevre, and I'll see you next time.